My best friend thought he found the one. She had no past, paid in cash, and vanished overnight, leaving behind a trashed apartment and a microwave-fried phone. That was just the beginning. Matt is the definition of a hopeless romantic. Not in the cute way. In the dude has a Spotify playlist for every emotion and sends full paragraphs in good morning texts kinda way. I've known him since 5th grade. He cried during Finding Nemo. That type of guy. A few months ago, he matches with this girl Lisa on a dating app. Says she's the one by day 3. I rolled my eyes, obviously. But then I met her, and okay, I admit it, she was stunning. Like model-level gorgeous. Funny, warm, smart, into all the same niche indie bands Matt obsesses over. And for some ungodly reason, she laughed at his puns. You don't understand. Nobody laughs at Matt's puns. Not unless they're paid. They move fast. Like, real fast. Within 2 weeks, she was sleeping over every night. By week 3, she had a toothbrush in his bathroom. A drawer in his dresser. By week 4, he started talking about ring sizes. But something felt off. Lisa never let him take photos of her. Not even selfies. Said she wasn't photogenic. Lie. She looked like she belonged on a billboard. She also paid for everything in cash. And when Matt asked what she did for work, she said she was in government. That's it. Just government. As if that answered anything. Matt, of course, didn't question it. Thought it was mysterious. I thought it was shady. And I told him. He brushed me off and said I was jealous because I'm single. Which okay, rude, but maybe fair. Then things started getting weird. First red flag? I went to his place one night to drop off something he left at mine. Lisa answered the door. She wasn't supposed to be there. Matt was out, but she opened it like she lived there. Said he was in the shower and couldn't come to the door. But I could see the bathroom light wasn't even on. Second red flag? Matt texted me a photo of him and Lisa at this outdoor jazz thing. It was blurry, but something was off. The background looked super familiar. I zoomed in. It was the same park that got raided 2 years ago in that major drug bust. That's not the weird part. The weird part? The guy playing trumpet in the background was wearing the same clothes as one of the undercover officers I'd seen in the news photo from that day. Coincidence? Maybe. But then Lisa started asking Matt questions. Not normal girlfriend questions. Stuff like, have you ever been arrested? And do you have any friends who've been in legal trouble? Like super casual but oddly specific. Matt thought it was quirky. I thought it sounded like a questionnaire from Quantico. I told Matt again, something's off. He laughed. Said I watched too much TV. Then it all exploded last Friday. I was working late. Got home around 11 p.m. Phone starts blowing up. For missed calls from Matt. A 5th one finally connects. He's freaking out. Says Lisa's gone. Like disappeared. Left everything. Toothbrush, clothes, even her shoes. All gone. But here's the kicker. His apartment was trashed. Drawers pulled out. Couch cushions slashed open. His laptop was gone. His phone was fried literally. Like someone stuck it in the microwave. And the cops were already there. But here's the weird part. They weren't local cops. They were feds. And get this. Lisa's real name wasn't Lisa. It was Jessica Mendez. And she was government. But not like Postal Service or DMV. She was part of a federal task force investigating domestic crypto laundering. Whatever that is. And guess who they were investigating? Matt. But here's the problem. Matt doesn't even own crypto. Turns out Lisa, or Jessica, was using his apartment as a front. His Wi-Fi, his IP address, his face. There was surveillance footage of him dropping off envelopes at this shady warehouse in Queens, except it wasn't him. It was a guy wearing a hoodie and mask about the same height. But the packages? Traced to his apartment. Everything pointed back to Matt. The feds thought he was her accomplice. They only cleared him after checking security footage from the night before and seeing him at work the whole time. He was this close to being charged. His job found out. He's on administrative leave pending review. His lease is probably getting canceled. Matt's been crashing on my couch since then. Depressed, confused, heartbroken. Still says he thinks Lisa, Jessica, actually cared about him. And then today, I found something in my mailbox. No return address. No message. Just an old school flip phone. I powered it on. One video file. It's Lisa, looking straight into the camera. She says, I'm sorry, Matt. I didn't mean for you to get hurt. Then the screen cuts to black. After that video of Lisa or Jessica saying, I didn't mean for you to get hurt, we both just stared at the flip phone like it was a ticking time bomb. Matt's hands were shaking. He replayed the video a dozen times, convinced there was some hidden message we weren't catching. It was short, less than 15 seconds, but every time we watched it, something new hit us. Like the way her eyes darted right before the screen cut, like someone else was in the room. Matt became obsessed, started pausing the video at different frames, trying to read the background. And that's when he noticed it. A painting behind her. A weird oil painting of a koi pond. And Matt swore he'd seen it before. 2 hours later, we found it. It was from a listing on Airbnb. Not just any Airbnb, one right here in Brooklyn. Booked just last week, the listing was still active. The reviews were normal. A couple from New Jersey had stayed the week before. But the most recent booking? No name, no profile photo, no review. Totally blank. Guest profile not available. The host said he only does self-check-in. Door code, contactless. We messaged him pretending we were tourists and asked if the koi pond painting was still there. He replied in less than a minute. Yeah, it's in the corner by the kitchen. Matt booked it. No hesitation. We went that night. Let me just pause here and say, I know this was a dumb idea. I said it. I told him, Matt, if this woman is part of some undercover operation and the feds are watching her, we are about to walk into a trap. He said she left that phone for me. She wants me to find her. I had nothing to say to that. Just grabbed a baseball bat and flashlight and we went. Now, the Airbnb looked normal from the outside. 3rd floor walk up. Clean hallway. Code worked fine. We got in. The koi painting was right where we saw it in the video. The place was empty, or so we thought. First 10 minutes were silent. Too silent. Matt walked straight into the kitchen, checking for any notes or more clues. I looked around the bedroom. That's when I saw it. A duffel bag under the bed. Not hidden well, just barely tucked under. I pulled it out. Inside, clothes, a burner laptop, a manila folder full of printed screenshots, and a passport. Lisa's real one. Jessica Mendez, born 1992, El Paso, Texas. The photo was her, but younger. Long hair, different haircut, no makeup. The laptop was password protected, of course. But the folder? That was something else. Inside were photos, dozens of them. Surveillance shots. Most of them were of Matt. I'm talking Matt at the deli, Matt leaving work, Matt unlocking his door, and then some with me in them too. Me and him at the bar. Me handing him a USB drive. It was literally a portable charger. I remember that day. They were labeled with numbers and notes, like Subject A patterns, Subject A device handoff. We realized something horrifying. She hadn't just used Matt as a cover. They were watching both of us. I dropped the folder. Matt sat down on the couch like he'd just been shot. He just kept saying, "Why me?" And that's when the front door opened. No knock, no warning, just the click of the lock and a slow creak. Matt froze. I grabbed the bat. A guy walked in. Not a cop. No badge. Late 30s. Plain hoodie, jeans, thick beard. Looked surprised to see us but didn't panic. Just calmly raised his hand. Said, "You shouldn't be here." Matt shouted, "Where is she?" The guy paused, then said, "She's gone." "What does that mean?" I yelled. He looked at us like we were children asking why the sky was blue. "She got burned. Too close. Protocol says disappear." We started asking questions. A million. Who are you? Who's watching us? Why was Matt targeted? The guy didn't answer. Just walked to the couch, picked up the duffel bag, and turned to leave. Matt blocked the door. The guy sighed, reached into his back pocket real slow, and pulled out a card. Just a plain white card with a black QR code. Handed it to Matt. Said, "You want answers? Start there." Then he stepped around Matt and walked out. Gone before we could follow. Matt scanned the code. It led to a page that auto-deleted itself after 1 minute, but I screenshotted it before it vanished. It was a dark web link, a download portal with a single zip file named Shelter 7. Password required. We tried guessing for hours. Nothing worked. Matt was losing it. He hadn't eaten all day. Kept saying he should have known something was off, that nobody that perfect could have fallen for him without an angle. I told him not to think like that, but honestly, I didn't know what to say anymore. And then at 3:17 a.m. his phone rang. The number was blocked. He answered on speaker, and we both heard Lisa's voice. "Matt, if you're listening, if you got the QR code, then you have 48 hours. After that, you're on your own." The call ended. No option to call back. No voicemail. Nothing. We looked at each other, speechless, because one thing was suddenly very, very clear. Lisa wasn't just running. She was warning us. We're sitting in Matt's living room. 3:30 in the morning. Dead silent except for the faint hum of the fridge. That last call from Lisa? It hit different. 48 hours. That was it. No follow-up, no code, no help. Like some Jason Bourne countdown had just started ticking in the background of our lives. Matt kept staring at the burner phone screen like it was going to give him more clues. I sat on the couch, scrolling through that dark web screenshot I'd grabbed, trying to reverse search the phrase Shelter 7, but nothing. Total dead end. Then something really weird happened. My phone lit up with a Google security alert. Unusual login attempt from an unknown device. Matt's too. At the same time. From Germany. We both changed our passwords right away. But here's the freaky part. Not even 5 minutes later, Matt's Wi-Fi shut off. He didn't turn it off. It just went modem blinking like it was fried. Then his phone started to overheat. Literally. I picked it up and almost dropped it. It was burning up like it had been left in the sun. That's when Matt chucked it into the sink. Steam rose off the screen. Gone. Completely dead. Then the apartment lights flickered. Once. Then again. I looked at Matt. "You think we're being..." "I don't know." Watched. He didn't even answer. He just walked straight to the kitchen, opened the junk drawer, and pulled out a hammer. I thought he was about to go full meltdown, but instead, he walked to his bedroom, pulled out his smart TV, and smashed it. No warning. Just boom. Glass everywhere. "I don't trust anything with a camera in it anymore," he said. And just like that, we spent the next 2 hours tearing through his apartment, unplugging every smart device. Cameras, speakers, even his smart thermostat. By sunrise, it looked like a tech graveyard in there. I told him we needed to go somewhere they couldn't track us. Somewhere with no cameras, no devices. Somewhere old school. So we went to the one place we knew had no Wi-Fi, no electronics, no traceable anything. My Uncle Ray's hunting cabin. Upstate. No cell service. No cable. Not even indoor plumbing. Ray's a prepper. Used to be a cop back in the 80s, but now he lives off the grid with a pit bull and more canned food than a Costco warehouse. I called him from a payphone. Yes, I actually found one, and asked if we could crash for a couple days. His answer? "Only if you bring your own toilet paper." Fair enough. We drove up that afternoon. The air up there felt different. Clean. Quiet. Too quiet. Ray had the place fully stocked, shotguns mounted on the walls, cameras pointing outward, and a safe full of hard drives. Said he kept insurance on everyone he used to work with. I didn't ask questions. Matt told him everything. Lisa, the feds, the fake identity, the burner phone, the surveillance folder, the QR code. All of it. Ray listened, didn't interrupt once. Then he said, "You said the zip file was called Shelter 7? Matt nodded. Ray paused, rubbed his chin. That name's been floating around the dark corners of law enforcement for years. Like a myth. Supposed to be a ghost operation. No paper trail, no digital signature. Just people who disappear. Matt leaned in. Disappear like permanently? Sometimes, Ray said. Sometimes they come back with different names. We asked if he could help us open the zip file. Ray said he knew a guy. Now here's where it gets weird. We meet this guy at a diner 2 towns over. Real hacker type, thick glasses, flip-flops, had a laptop covered in anime stickers. Goes by Mink. Mink looks at the QR code screenshot and says, this is a one-time vault key. These were used in some of the CIA's crypto tracking pilot programs, but they were all shut down or supposed to be. Then he turns to Matt and says something that froze us both. Did you ever go by the name Jordan Finch? Matt blinked. What? No. Why? Mink just kept looking at him. Because your face is all over the net under that name. Reddit threads, Telegram chats, encrypted forums. Someone's been using your image as an alias. For years. Matt went pale. This wasn't about Lisa anymore. This went deeper. It looked like someone, maybe Lisa, maybe someone higher up, had created a shadow identity for Matt and used that identity to move crypto, run transactions, rent storage units, even apply for business licenses. All traceable to that face. That name. Jordan Finch. We Googled it later. And there it was. A missing person report from 2011. Photo matched Matt almost perfectly, but younger. Slightly different nose. Maybe altered. Maybe not. But here's the kicker. That kid disappeared in California. Matt grew up in Michigan. Never been west of Illinois. So now we're wondering, is Matt a victim of identity theft, or is there some next-level doppelganger situation going on here? Mink finally gets the zip file open. Inside, a list of names. Dozens. All marked with timestamps. Locations. Photos. A few were redacted. One said status acquired. Another status terminated. Matt's name? Status monitored. Subject unaware. Then mine. My name was in there. Next to it, secondary contact. Low threat. Status passive. I almost threw up in that diner booth. We asked Mink what it meant. He looked at us dead serious. It means whoever set this up, they've been tracking both of you. Not just recently. For years. Matt stood up. We need to find her. Mink said that was a terrible idea. She warned you for a reason. If she's running, it means the people behind this don't leave loose ends. Matt didn't care. He said he had one lead left, and that's when he dropped it. A name I hadn't heard in 10 years. His ex, Natalie. Apparently, Lisa met Natalie once, back when things were just starting, and something Lisa said back then didn't sit right. Matt remembered it. Lisa said, your ex worries too much. She asked me questions like she was interrogating me. Matt said Natalie used to intern with a cybersecurity firm in DC. And Lisa flinched when she found out. Natalie, she might have answered if she's still alive. We found Natalie. Took 2 days, a handful of LinkedIn stalking, and a message sent through her barely used photography Instagram. Matt kept it vague, just said he needed to talk. Urgently. In person. She replied, this about Lisa? Our jaws dropped. We didn't even mention her name. She agreed to meet the next morning. Neutral location. Outdoor cafe. Matt and I showed up early. Natalie walked in like a storm. Hair pulled back. Aviators. Tension in her step. She didn't even sit down. Just stood over the table and said, I told you she wasn't real. Matt looked stunned. You knew. Natalie exhaled. I didn't know no, but I had a gut feeling the second she looked at me like I was a threat. The way she studied me, it wasn't jealousy. It was tactical. That's when she pulled out her phone and showed us something insane. Photos of Lisa from before she met Matt. Different city, different hair, same face. She was working under the name Melissa Caro then, Natalie said. Got close to a guy I used to work with. Left him broke and under investigation for insider trading. Now we were convinced Lisa, aka Jessica, aka Melissa, wasn't just a rogue agent. She was running operation. Real ones. Dirty ones. Natalie leaned in. Matt, when you told me she worked in government, I ran her through a system I still have access to. She pinged under a retired Homeland alias. Not active, not archived, just ghosted. We were quiet for a long time. Then Natalie dropped this. She's not hiding from the feds. She is one. Matt blinked. What? She's part of a breakaway cell. Off-book. They use legit agency credentials to cover deep operations, but they're not accountable to anyone. No oversight. Some ex-military, some ex-agency. They're called Division 7. I asked how she knew all this. She didn't answer. Just said, I know what you found. The zip file. Shelter 7 isn't a location. It's a protocol. And once you're flagged, it doesn't go away. And then she warned us, do not contact her again. Do not chase her. Do not go back to your apartment. You were part of a cover operation. Matt was the face, the dupe, the civilian fall guy if it blew up. But now that she's off the grid, you're collateral. Matt slammed his hand on the table. So what? I just sit here and wait for someone to wipe me out. Natalie glanced around. If you keep chasing this, that's exactly what'll happen. She handed him a flash drive. This has everything I know, but don't plug it in at home. And for the love of God, don't upload it anywhere public. We asked what was on it. She said one word, surveillance. Before we could say anything else, she picked up her drink, tossed a 20 on the table, and walked away. Didn't even say goodbye. We drove back to the cabin in silence, then plugged the flash drive into Ray's offline laptop. And holy hell, the footage inside, security cam feeds lots of them. Grainy timestamps, random location, but all had one thing in common. Lisa, or Jessica, or whatever her name really was. Different disguises, blonde, wig, glasses, business suit, hoodie, but definitely her. In one video, she's at a warehouse, swapping briefcases. In another, she's speaking to someone we recognize. Matt's cousin, Brian. We paused the video. No mistaking it. Brian. The same Brian who borrowed money from Matt 2 years ago and disappeared. Said he moved to Texas. But here here he was, sitting across from Lisa, exchanging folders. Matt lost it. You've got to be kidding me. My own cousin? I called Brian's last known number. Disconnected. We checked his old Facebook. Inactive. Instagram. Scrub. I reached out to an old mutual friend. Got a hit. Apparently, Brian came back into town 3 weeks ago. Quietly. No contact with family. Staying in an Airbnb near the train station. We found the listing and booked the place next door. That night, we watched his unit from across the hallway. 2 hours in, the door opened, and out came Brian, looking over his shoulder, jumping at shadows. We followed him. He walked 4 blocks to a cheap storage unit facility, slid in through the side door, keycard access. We waited. 20 minutes later, he came back out, carrying nothing. We walked in after he left. Place was mostly empty, but we spotted the unit. Hashtag 231C. No lock. I yanked the door open, and what we saw inside made me backpedal in actual fear. The walls were covered like a conspiracy dream. Strings, maps, surveillance photos, faces circled in red, license plates, bank printouts, thumb drives, a Polaroid of Matt and Lisa kissing with the word ghost scribbled over Matt's face. And then we saw the crates. 2 of them. Locked, metal, military style. Ray popped one open with a crowbar. Inside, stacks of cash, US currency, unmarked, wrapped tight. We didn't even open the second one. Matt stared at the board on the wall. I was the ghost. I looked at him. What? He turned, voice flat. I wasn't the accomplice. I wasn't the victim. I was the ghost, the scapegoat if this went sideways. My face, my name, my fingerprints, all over everything. Ray nodded grimly. They used you as a firewall. We took pictures, every detail, then locked the unit back up and left. We never saw Brian again. The Airbnb next door, empty the next morning. Profile deleted. Number disconnected. We went back to the cabin. Matt didn't sleep. He kept whispering the same sentence over and over. She picked me for a reason. And then, the next morning, there was a note on Ray's porch. No footsteps, no tire tracks. Just a folded piece of paper tucked under a rock. No envelope. Just 4 words written in black ink. You're not done yet. You're not done yet. Those 4 words sat on Ray's porch like a threat carved in stone. No footprints. No knock. No camera footage. Just the note. Matt didn't say a word. He folded the paper, tucked it into his pocket, and stared off into the woods like he was waiting for a sniper's red dot to hit his chest. But nothing happened. Ray, ever the doomsday planner, locked down the cabin, bolted windows, moved his pit bull, Knox inside. I sat on the couch with a loaded shotgun across my lap, half joking that we needed tinfoil hats next. Nobody laughed. Around midnight, Matt stood up and said, I'm done running. Ray looked at him. That's exactly what they want. Matt didn't flinch. Then they picked the wrong guy. We had one final lead, and it wasn't Lisa. It was Brian. Remember how I said his Airbnb profile was deleted? Well, it wasn't scrubbed well. Natalie had slipped us a name before she vanished again, one of her former contacts from her agency days. A guy named Terrence. Terrence wasn't just any guy. He was deep intel, ran facial recon for rogue ops. Natalie said he owed her a favor. We reached out, encrypted email only. No names, no pleasantries, just a face. Brian's. The reply came 17 minutes later. One sentence. He's not who you think he is. Terrence sent a secure link. Inside it, an old agency file. Turns out Brian, Matt's sweet cousin who once sold baseball cards at yard sales, wasn't Brian at all. His real name? Alex Shaw, ex-CIA field asset. Vanished in 2017 after an internal corruption probe tied him to a black budget project called, you guessed it, Shelter 7. He'd been undercover ever since, planted inside Matt's extended family. Years of quiet observation. No contact, no trace, until Lisa. That's when Matt pieced it together. Brian, no, Alec was my babysitter. I looked at him. Dude, what? Matt nodded. When I was 6, after my mom had surgery, Brian watched me after school for 2 months. I remember because he taught me how to cheat at Uno. Ray whistled low. They planted him back then. We started to see the shape of it. That wasn't just a scapegoat. He was a seed. A dormant cover identity tied to a ghost operation they could resurrect whenever they needed a firewall. And Lisa? Lisa was the reactivation trigger. She was sent in to stir the pot, but she went rogue, which meant Matt was now a liability. We didn't know who would come first, the agency trying to clean up their mess or Lisa trying to finish whatever she started. Either way, we knew where it was all going down. The storage unit, because the last time we were there, we missed something. A blinking red light on the corner ceiling. Tiny, barely noticeable. A motion cam. One of those micro SD recording units. The kind that doesn't stream. It stores, which means someone would have to come back to retrieve the footage. We returned to the unit at 3 a.m. with Ray driving back up in his truck. Matt and I slipped into the building. Quiet. We hid in the shadows across the hall from hashtag 231C watching. Then at 3:42 a.m. someone showed up. All black clothes. Ball cap, gloved hands. We couldn't see the face, but the walk, it was familiar. He opened the unit, pulled the SD chip from the motion cam, slid it into a phone. And that's when Matt stood up and said Brian. The guy froze, turned, pulled off the hat. It was him. Older, thinner. But yeah, it was Brian. Matt, he said. Calm, cold. I told them you wouldn't follow through. Then he looked straight at me. But you're the wild card. I stepped forward. What the hell is all this? Why you? Why Matt? He sighed. Matt's dad was one of us. Retired early. Took a deal. Left it all behind. Or so we thought. Matt's eyes went wide. My dad? My dad was an accountant. Brian shook his head. That's what he told your mom. He was our books guy. The one who figured out how to bury money under shell companies and crypto wallets. He was the brain behind the clean fund system. Until he disappeared. Brian stepped closer. You were insurance, Matt. Your whole childhood? Controlled variable. Monitored interactions. Every school, every job. It was all part of the setup. Matt couldn't breathe. I could see it, like his whole existence just got kicked out from under him. Brian went on. When your dad vanished, they put a sleeper team in place, just in case the feds came sniffing. You were the backup identity, the scapegoat. Matt stepped back. So what now? You kill me? Clean up the mess. Brian tilted his head. No, I was here to erase the unit and walk, but she complicated everything. I asked. He smirked. Lisa, she found something she wasn't supposed to. I stepped closer. What was in the crates? He hesitated, then said one word. Evidence. He turned to Matt. She was trying to bring the whole thing down. Blow the whistle. That's why they sent me. But you showed up. Again, just like before. And then he pulled out a gun. We froze. Ray burst in behind him like a wrecking ball, yelling, drop it. Brian turned too late. Boom. One shot. Straight to the shoulder. He dropped like a sack of bricks, gun clattering. Ray pointed the shotgun down. I hate liars. We tied him up with extension cords. Called a burner number Terrence gave us. He said to leave Brian in a specific alley, no questions asked. Someone would clean it up. Matt and I looked at each other. This wasn't over. This was the halfway point, because now we knew who Matt was, who Lisa was, and what they were running from. Only one question remained. Where the hell was Lisa? We left Brian, or Alex Shaw, tied up in that alley, just like Terrence said. An unmarked van rolled up 20 minutes later. No license plate, no headlights. Two guys in tactical gear got out. No words, just a nod. They took him, and then they were gone. Matt didn't ask questions. Neither did I, because we weren't looking for Brian anymore. We were looking for Lisa. Went back through her burner number, the airbumps, the QR code servers, and that's when we noticed something. Every place she'd stayed, every number she used, every encrypted trace left one odd little stamp in the data log. Ray's contact finally figured it out. It wasn't a location or a server. It was a frequency, a radio signal, shortwave, encrypted and active. And that's when Matt had an idea. His dad, the man he'd been told was just an accountant, used to keep a ham radio in their basement. It hadn't worked in years, or so he thought. We dug it out of storage, old school knobs and all, hooked it up at the cabin, dialed into the L7X91 frequency. Static, then click, then her voice. Matt, if this is you, then you're in deeper than I hope. We froze. It was Lisa, live. She didn't say where she was, just kept talking. Her voice, calm, but you could hear something behind it. Regret, pain. You weren't supposed to get this far. I picked you because you were smart but normal. Off the grid, no priors, clean background, a good man. Matt leaned into the mic. Where are you? Silence. Then, I can't tell you. They're listening. Even this frequency won't last long. Matt pushed. Was anything between us real? Lisa didn't answer. Then finally, yes. Then, but I should have walked away before I got in too deep. You were never supposed to matter. And then she dropped it. The final bomb. You're not just a backup identity. You're the key. Matt frowned. What do you mean? She continued. Your dad didn't vanish. He escaped. And he didn't take documents or money. He took a keychain drive. The only copy of the client ledger. Every name, every account, every politician they ever paid off. Matt's voice cracked. Where is it? I don't know, but they think you do. Matt backed away from the mic. They're after me because of what he left me. Yes. Lisa sounded like she was crying. They think your dad hid it with you. Or near you. They've been watching for years. And if they don't find it. She didn't finish the sentence. Then her voice changed. Sharper. Panic. I have to go. They're close. Don't trust. Static. Gone. Dead air. Ray shut off the signal. Looked at us. They're going to move fast now. So we started digging. Not metaphorically. We remembered the old house Matt grew up in. Still owned by a rental company now. But back then, it had a crawl space under the stairs. One that Matt's dad had told him never to go into. We keep rats out of there, he used to say. We broke in that night. No alarm. No tenants. Just a flashlight and a crowbar. We opened the crawl space. Dust everywhere. Old toys. A rusty bike. And in the back corner, under loose floorboards, wrapped in a black garbage bag, a keychain USB. Inside was a folded note. Handwritten. To Matt, if they ever come for me, don't trust anyone. You'll know what to do. Dad. Ray scanned the drive on an offline laptop. Every ledger entry, every payment dates, code names, real names. Everything. Matt sat there for hours reading. Senators, CEOs, judges, all bought, all connected to Division 7. It was enough to start a war. Matt looked at us. I'm going to expose it. Ray shook his head. You'll be hunted for the rest of your life. I already am. He backed up the drive 5 times. One went to a journalist, another to Natalie, one hidden in a cemetery locker under a fake name. The rest, we don't talk about. We left the cabin at sunrise. Matt changed his name, got a burner ID, moved out west. Ray burned the radio, literally, said he never wanted to hear another coded message again. I got a job out of state, changed numbers, went offline, deleted every cloud account I had. Then last week, I got a package, no return address, just a flash drive. Inside, a video. Lisa again, but this time she looked different. Hair buzzed, military jacket, blood on her temple. She looked into the camera and said, Matt, I'm sorry, they're closing in. I don't know if I'll make it, but I gave you time. I hope it was enough. Then she smiled. One last thing. The baby's yours. The video ended.